Welcome to the podcast I'm Too Old for This, where we're asking the uncomfortable, inspiring and frequently asked questions of people who've truly seen it all. I'm Cath, your guide to explore the realities of getting older, with open conversations, no taboos and a good dose of humour.
The ones who lock themselves away and feel sad for themselves are getting nowhere. They are going to age more quickly, I believe, than I am, because I am going to maintain my friendships and my family relationships and whatever for as long as I possibly can, and that does keep you young, there's no question.
I've got with me Rob, who's 75 years of age, and Vina, who's 90. We're all part of the Brightwater community, and we're going to talk to you about what it's like to age, some of the good, the bad and the ugly, and I hope we really have some deep conversations as well as a few laughs. Let's get started with the first big question. So Vina, you're first. You've got the advantage of age. What do you think it feels like to get old? When did you know you were getting old?
I never knew. I don't remember because when I was young, quite young, I never liked birthdays to begin with because I didn't want to get old.
Yeah.
And to me, when I turned 21, I cried the whole day because I intended to die. My date to die was at 28 years old.
Oh, wow.
It's true.
Yeah.
So I hated birthdays. And when I was nearly 28, I changed my mind, of course. I didn't think that
as you got closer.
late.
Yeah.
I thought 28 was the age that I would like to die.
Yeah.
I didn't like to sit down and make conversation with old people and, doing things that I didn't like to do.
Yeah.
So when I turned 28 and I was married, of course, it was completely different. I didn't have a child, but I had my son at 30th, but it was fine. I didn't think of age ever since. I don't care.
When did people start to think of you as old? Because I imagine it's different. I'm having this now, actually, where if I share a little bit, my 60-ish friend was really annoyed the other day. She was on the train and somebody stood up for her. And, of course, we tell children to stand up for people as they get older, but she was really annoyed and tried to hide it. So, and I would be too. I'd be totally cheesed off if somebody stood up for me. When did that happen? When did you feel it change?
Oh, very late in life. So still people do not believe my age.
Oh, yeah.
My family.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
They are, I'm amazing, they say, and I don't believe I'm amazing. To me, I'm just an ordinary person. But people make me believe that I'm really out of my age, that I shouldn't be the way I am, probably, because I'm not afraid of dying at all. I don't even think of dying. I just want to die suddenly. That's what I pray for.
Yeah, I think
that I don't have to suffer or make other people suffer.
Yeah. And
I don't want to be a vegetable.
Yeah.
That is for sure. I told my son, if that happens, don't put machines or anything on me, just let me go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not afraid at all.
So when do you, because you will have seen loads of things, both of you, through the generations, do you still find that you can keep up with it? Like technology is one. I mean, look at us now doing a podcast.
Yeah, well, yes. I mean, you ask, when did you start to feel old? I never actually thought I'm old. I still don't.
Yeah.
It's an inevitable thing. Aging is inevitable.
Yeah.
Being old somehow isn't. Being old is a choice.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, I've decided to make the choice to stay as young as I can.
Yeah.
But I never ever felt old. And I'd like to, ask Vina, what's the number where people say, oh, because you're that number, you're old?
No, all depends on the person.
Yeah.
Some people at 24 looks like an old person when they talk.
Or behave like it, yeah.
Yeah. Other people not like that. I think that I'm like that because my friends are all younger than me. I'm the oldest.
Yeah.
And they all like my company, so I don't feel the age.
No, I don't either.
I don't feel the gap because I treat them as my own.
Do you get a hell of a shock when you look in the mirror?
Sorry?
Do you get a hell of a shock when you look in the mirror?
I don't look in the mirror.
No, I don't. No. I still quite like what I see.
Oh, I can't see myself in the mirror anymore.
I avoid looking in the mirror.
Do you?
Yes, since I was very young, I wasn't pretty. So my sister was a beautiful person. But green eyes, beautiful teeth, mine was all crooked, So when we went to the cinema, for example, we were doing our hair. When I looked at her and then looked at me, gosh, I thought it was horrible.
Oh, I'm sure you weren't. But you do I get a shock when I look in the mirror sometimes.
Oh, you shouldn't.
Oh, thanks, Ron.
That's what I really pity, that we get out.
Probably your husband's behind you, that's why.
It's noticeable. And that is really, that's why I avoid mirrors. It's true. Because I think when I look at the mirror and I see my face, what a disgrace.
Rubbish.
My goodness me. At 90,
I wish I could have something to make me look younger. Yeah, really. No wrinkles.
Oh, yeah. But, you've got the wisdom of those wrinkles, don't you? I wonder about that too in terms of ageing.
It's quite difficult to change your looks, but you can change your attitudes and your behaviours. And I am physically. My ageing came suddenly.
Yeah.
Because I collapsed, went into a coma, spent 6 or 7 weeks in hospital, came out, and I was disabled. I can't walk very well, and I lack balance. That's my major issue. Prior to that, the day before, I was fine.
Yeah.
Afterwards, I'm not. So with me, the aging process didn't really affect me other than the physical sort of medical side of it. But mentally, I still feel as young as. I still feel 35.
You're still working with a lot of technology, aren't you? I know you.
Yeah,
You're the computer savvy one that we've got here.
One of the few. Yeah, when I worked with computers virtually, I say all my life, I was an advertising copywriter. You started writing it by hand and giving it to a secretary. Then you were given a typewriter. Then you were given an electric typewriter, and then a computer. And you just ran with it. It just grew. Technology
is one of those things that keeps you young, isn't it? Because you can communicate, on social media and things like that.
Yeah.
It keeps
you any sort of communication, any sort of rapport with people is going to keep you younger.
Yeah.
The ones who lock themselves away and feel sad for themselves are getting nowhere. They are going to age more quickly, I believe, than I am, because I am going to maintain my friendships and my family relationships and whatever for as long as I possibly can, and that does keep you young. There's no question about it.
Do you see lots of stereotypes about people who are aging, and what do you think about them?
The stereotypes are largely physical, I think. Eyes and ears are one thing. You've got a lot of people around here who are, lacking in those areas. And, they're all sort of stooped old man with a walking stick or, I've got a walker, a trolley. And they become stereotypes. And you've got to fight them. You've got to not go with the stereotype.
Yeah.
I need that device. I'm lost without it. I'll be on the floor without it.
Yeah.
But I've got to learn how to use it to the best of my advantage so that it actually doesn't impact on my life as much as it could.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's a stereotype in itself, the stereotype of a little old man doddering along with a walker.
What about grumpiness? There's always there's a
grumpy old
about
man.
People, grumpy old man, grumpy old women. There's a real stereotype about that. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I've become a bit more grumpy. I do, actually. I will complain, carefully, cautiously, but I will complain and make comments about certain things, probably more so than I would have done some years ago. And if something goes wrong which affects me, I want to know why, and I will ask. And if I don't get a good answer, I will ask grumpily.
and is that because you're more? Why is that? Are you more confident?
I am. Yeah, I find myself very confident with people and with sort of management and whatever.
Yeah.
A lot of people aren't. I've run my own businesses, and I've been in the business world, so it doesn't affect me that much.
Vina, I was going to ask. You were just saying you're in a great stage of your life. So, do you feel like that?
I do feel like that because, as I say, I have young people around me, and I am a very good listener. I like to listen to people talking. So I never interrupt. I can listen to young, I listen to old, and my mind is working. And I don't feel unhappy at all around them. And as I say, I don't think about anything happening to me, really. When it happens, it will be suddenly, I'm sure.
That's what we all hope for. What did you do when you were younger?
I was an accountant.
Right.
And a secretary to directors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're used to listening.
That's my course, yes.
Yeah. So what new things have you learnt as you've kind of gone into this third stage of your life? What did
I learn? To be more patient. Because it's something that I never had.
Oh, didn't you?
But I've been trying along the years.
Yeah.
Because it's something that my mother used to say. So it's on my mind. And so I grow on that space because since then, I'm much, much, much more patient than I used to be.
How do you do that? How do you become more?
You just think.
We're opposites. I've become more grumpy.
Like selfishness. My mother used to say that I was a little bit selfish. And I can tell you that I'm not selfish at all today because I did a lot of exercises not to be selfish because I think it's the horrible sin. Not sin. It's a horrible fact if you are selfish.
So how many brothers and sisters did you have that your mum thought?
One.
So yeah.
Only one.
So it's an interesting thing for your mum to think you were selfish. That's what I was wondering about. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how you learn not to be. That sounds.
It's not. That's. I could tell you a lot of things about selfishness.
Is there anything you think we don't know about aging that you wish we knew that you could pass on to people?
Oh, obviously cures for diseases. I mean, it's got to be that, isn't it? It's got to be, why can't they cure cancer and whatever the big issues? Because, I mean, a lot of people, it sounds odd, but they are old because they're ill.
Yeah.
And, if you could be well, completely well all the time, you wouldn't feel, a lot of people wouldn't feel, I mean, I'm not ill. I'm disabled, but I'm not ill.
Yeah.
But those who are, and I have a great deal of respect for people who, sort of fight cancer or whatever. And if I could see any major changes, it would be in that area, definitely.
I mean, the alternative to aging is not great, is it?
No. Well, it's pretty terminal.
It is. We'll see you next time on I'm Too Old for This, which is brought to you by Brightwater, creating communities where people thrive, connect and belong. If you'd like to get in touch, contact details are in our show notes.